Right, I'm streaming.
Body continuously for 20 years or so. I've been on this body when the party has frankly been teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. The party's never been in a stronger financial position than it is right now, and that's a reflection of our strength and our membership. So just a bit of context for us all to remember. Secondly, I'm not going to get into the details. That's for Douglas. That's what he's elected to do. And of course, this body is the governing body of the party. But, just be very careful, all of us, about suggestions that there are problems with the party's finances, because we depend on donors to donate. There are no reasons for people to be concerned about the party's finances, and all of us need to be careful about not suggesting that there is. And lastly, we got to be careful as an NEC. We don't reap what we sow. If we have leaks from this body, as I said earlier on, it limits the ability for open, free and frank discussion. This body is and this is the governing body of the party with the responsibility to pass a budget. So in all the years I've been on it, there has been good quality, detailed financial information given by national treasurers, and that's how it should be. But if there are leaks, as with everything else, that gets more difficult to do. So everybody has to be very clear about that. And, if I was a betting person, and just to be clear, Alison, this is not directed at you in any way, shape or form, but if I was a betting person, I would bet we'll see the statement that's just been read out in public this afternoon. So I hope I'm wrong about that, and it might do a great benefit for the confidence we all have in the discussions we can have in this NEC if I am proved wrong about that. And I'm sure I won't be the only one looking to see whether that is the case or not.
奇跡の一投をスローでもう一度。美しい放物線を描いたピザは一直線にレンジへ。やはり落下しながら左に傾いたが、今度はそれを計算に入れていた菊池はなんとオーブンレンジのドアを利用して方向転換。見事ピザはレンジの中へ。全てが狙い通り、まさにウルトラマン。
Heather Furr, as expected, the quarterback sneak. She'll get into the end zone with little resistance from Green Bay.
Heather Furr, here we go. Is she going to talk to the crowd? She is talking to the crowd.
Is she getting a beer?
She is getting a beer.
Cheers to the crowd.
This is right in the Gravedigger's faith. Drinking a beer after a touch. I've never seen that in the history of sports.
That is the biggest rock star move that I have ever seen.
Well. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Ben.
I was being a bit patriotic, seeing us meet there in the Kremlin. Gets me every time. Gets me in the feels.
It's
Really does.
someplace.
Gets me in the feels.
It's someplace. It's impressive.
So tonight I have run out of cans of drink, so I'm quite upset.
Mm-hmm.
I do have this radioactive stuff here, though.
The freak is that?
It's a good colour, isn't it?
What is it? Did you run it through once? Oh, good God.
I was just waiting for his reaction. Just like, didn't tell him. That's the first he saw. I've been sitting here going like this whilst we're before the show. I've been going, so he wouldn't see. But thought it would set him off a lot more than it has.
Well, I think Trudy nailed it.
And don't taste like camel. Well, I don't know what camel urine tastes like. It might taste like.
Nearly got you there.
It might taste like oversweetened lemon and lime, but you never know.
You never
know. You never know.
Kelly,
So, Mr. Musk's had a day.
Yeah, he didn't get it up. No morning wood for him.
No, he didn't get it up. He tried. Bless him, he tried, but things got a bit frozen, didn't they?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, he said that. He said yesterday that he suspected it would be delayed 3 days.
So things may not have got a bit frozen.
Don't know. Maybe I don't know. I mean, they had a big party last night as well. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. But
oh,
they
had a laser show going on in the big, their big building thing. So they were obviously having a pre-launch party. Perhaps it might have been sensible to have kept it to a post-launch party.
I would have thought so, but it does mean they can have another party.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So they might not have got it up today. He might not have been able to, perform today, but there's always another day and there's always another party.
I wonder
let's face it.
I wonder if this is going to be another Artemis. Is it going to drag on for weeks?
See, that's the in his case, multi-million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it just?
It could do. And for those who don't know what the fuck we're talking about, Mr. Musk, as you saw there, tried to put his Starship into space today. One of many billionaire-owned cock-shaped rocket ships, and didn't manage to do it, did he, John?
No, he didn't. Failure to launch.
The phallus did not rise.
Oh God, it's like being back at school. Anyway,
except for we're cooler now than we were at school.
Speak for yourself. When I was at school in 6th year, I had my own car. I used to turn up in a car.
Me, look at me, I had a car.
It was.
Do you know why I had it?
It was literally some of the best years of my life. 5th and 6th year. I loved it.
I loved it. Oh, look at me, I had a car at school.
Well, it's okay. I mean, I don't have a fucking car now, do I? I don't even have a van yet, and he'd never fucking phoned me. Contact me on Friday saying, I'll phone you today and we'll go through where we are. And I'm like, I'm still waiting. Still fucking waiting. And my electrician never turned up yesterday to drill the hole in the wall to put the data cable through for the new premises. Tradesmen are scum. They never turn up. I'm now on my third. I'm now on the third guy who's supposed to be dropping cattle off tomorrow for me to do it myself. So he's not even going to do it. He's just going to give me the stuff to do it myself. And usually that's actually how you get things done in this world today. You do it your fucking self or it doesn't get done. But if you do it yourself, it usually gets done right.
Okay. And with that, say hello to the good, kind folks of the world.
Hello, good kind folks of the world, and I'd like to welcome you here to this episode 214 of Chasing Dissent Live with me, John, from the country ruled over by Himza useless, and from Ben in the southern shore, defending our borders from the incoming tide of economic migrants.
I'm great.
Welcome.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
I think I'm going to have to redo the intro because it's getting tired. It's getting old now. I mean, all the people in it are... Well, Andrew Tate's got hair and a beard.
He does. He does. He has hair and a beard.
And he's not outlined outside his house. Boris Johnson's no longer the Prime Minister. Jacinda Ardern has resigned. Sturgeon has resigned. For fuck's sake, I mean, there's nobody... Liz Truss isn't there. It's really out of date. The only thing that's still happening that's in the intro is the Dutch farmers are still at it.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's
Quite
not even that old. It's not even that old.
I think it was it February?
Maybe it's just well out of date. Well out of date.
I just don't know, mate. I just don't know.
Do you not know? Oh, I better get the slides up, and I'm slacking.
Oh, right. So here we go. The first slide from Small Ginger Girl. That's a cracking name, isn't it? Small Ginger Girl.
Is it Sturgeon?
No, it's
She's
just
a small ginger girl, right?
She doesn't. She looks pretty on Sturgeon. Small Ginger Girl and God, who's also known as Enough is Enough. And they put up the front page of Sunday Mail from yesterday. Police and Sturgeon emails probe.
Mm-hmm.
So the police are now looking into her emails. Could this be like another Hillary Clinton email probe? I don't think things are going quite well for her. That video that was leaked, while damning in itself, is nearly 3 years old.
Yeah.
You know, we do need to remember that.
They've been at it for more than 6 months, John.
Oh, yes, they have.
Oh, yes, they have.
They definitely have. So now the police are investigating. We've got confirmation, I think, from mainstream media that the police are investigating our glorious former leader, Chief Cranky.
Chief Cranky.
You get this? This guy, AC Grayling, is one of the biggest FBPE clowns going, isn't he? I mean, he's still banging on about it, right? I mean, I think obviously he's got a house or something in France and just wants to float in between here and there. But hold on a second. The right-wing press are doing their damnness to undermine the SNP and Scotland's drive for independence. Hold on a minute.
Aren't the SNP doing that themselves?
Hold on a minute. Let's go right back to the start of that statement. The right-wing press. The Daily Record Sunday Mail are not right-wing. And never have been. So this guy has a firm grasp of Scottish politics. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have a fucking clue. And Pewty Pewt is quite right in calling him out for it.
But I'll tell you what's happened here. I can tell you exactly what's happened here. Because he is a lefty London elite, as Pewty calls him. He's just in Sunday Mail and he thinks it's the Mail on Sunday.
Yes, I know he does. Because he's a fucking idiot. And like 90% of the population can't fucking read and doesn't bother reading. And that's how you end up with stupid replies to tweets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, when you say, you can't claim benefits in France until you've lived in the country for 2 years, right? And someone replies to you, you need an address here before you can apply for benefits. That's not the fucking point, is it? Fucking hell, these people are dense. Read what has been written before you open your mouth and let your fucking empty belly rumble just the contents of your empty head. Stupid people.
And continuing on with the theme, we move to a tweet from you. A tweet from you?
I had to put this up because I thought this was a class tweet, and I might be wrong, but surely Ash Regan and Kate Forbes, especially Kate Forbes, because what was she? Remember for the last 3 years?
Finance
Minister.
Yeah.
For the SNP. So anyway, so surely they're sitting thinking, maybe running for FM wasn't a great decision at the time, and maybe they should just actually be running and getting the fuck out of there, especially Katie. I think you could be in deep shit. I think you're next, Kate.
Let's say Himza probably definitely knew this.
Of course he did. Although, in his self-induced delusion and rampant excitement at getting the top job, he's probably thought, I'll be brushed under the carpet. Chief Mammy will sort it. And no, she fucking won't. You're on your own, mate.
I'm pushing through once again. This tweet here from Edward or William. I don't know. It could be Edward or William.
It's William, I think.
Well,
Edward Longshanks was the king. Remember that came to Scotland and instituted Prima Nocta.
Well, he says, looks like the wedding rings have been seized by the police. This was strange at the time. Now we know. But that's her right hand. So why would we?
Because she wouldn't show her left hand.
Oh, yes, it was in her pocket, wasn't it?
The hidden hand. Because whoa, now we'll get all sorts of conspiracy theories about the hidden hand, Napoleon, Churchill, Hitler. It's fucking, everything's a conspiracy.
She's doing a Masonic pocket grab. No, she's just hiding the fact they've taken her wedding ring. No, it's a Masonic pocket grab, I tell you.
So I think they've taken everything. I'm surprised that she's getting any left. And then, you know, it's getting too much for her. And you know what? My heart, as they say, my heart is pumping pish for her. I really just have no regard for her. I just want to see her suffer because she's done nothing for me. She's done nothing for this country. In fact, she's done the exact opposite. She's brought me down. She's brought the country down. She's brought my businesses down. She's caused suffering on my family. She's caused suffering on my employees. So, you know what? Rot in hell. Rot in hell. So,
just tell us what you really think, John.
Yeah. Nicola Sturgeon's to stay away from Hollywood this week amid speculation she's preparing to quit politics. Fucking good. Not soon enough. Should have been like 10 years ago.
I mean, I don't think she should just be able to get away with just quitting politics. But as we keep telling people, nobody's going to be held accountable.
Well, she might be. She might be. She won't be held accountable.
Not for the right reasons.
Not for the right reasons, but she might be pulled up for the complete mismanagement and criminal activity. I suspect that the SNP have been involved in here because I think with all this funny money shenanigans going on, I think you've got to be looking at some kind of fraud or at the very least malfeasance or misfeasance in a public office. So I think there's definitely charges to be answered here.
I think it would be very, very hard pressed. You'd be very hard pressed to actually think that if Peter Murrell was responsible for all of this, she didn't at least know. She knew.
Oh, of course she
Come
knew.
on.
Of course she knew.
Of course she knew.
That video shows that she knew. You know?
Of course she knew. Come on, guys. You know, she didn't want people looking into the finances, like you said, 3 years ago. So how long has Murrell and his wife been fiddling the SNP? How long have they been doing it?
Since day one, I suspect.
Oh well, you know. At the end of the day, this is politicians for you. Feather your own nest, control the population.
That's it. Feather your own nest, control the population.
And it looks like Nicola's been doing a wee bit more feathering than most.
She's made it a bit too obvious.
Yeah. What's this? A giant £600,000 camper van?
Right. Moving on. So,
where did that come from?
From Craig Kelly, vitamin D study. Now, Busy Daisy's tweeted this. I understand what she's saying. Sitting outside for an hour a day would have helped, but it would never be enough up here in this country.
You don't get sun.
You don't get enough. You don't get enough. But apart from that, the thing that gets me is, I especially have been banging on about this since day one, since February 2020. I said, take your vitamin D. What did I say, Ben? What did I say? Anytime you ask me, what did I say? I say, take your vitamin D, son. Get your supplements. In fact, I'm going to just going to have a couple of vitamin D. Not sponsored. But I'm going to take a couple of vitamin Ds right now.
And that, boys and girls, is how you take medicine or supplements.
There you go. That's it. Done.
There you go.
Right. So, yeah, vitamin D is critical for general good health. And you know yourself, even if you just injure yourself, if you take a big high dose of vitamin D, you probably find that in 2 hours the pain's gone and the thing's clearing itself up already. Because it gives your immune system a big kick.
I mean, it definitely helps when I get a cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, just whack down far too many of them, and then all of a sudden I feel pretty good again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. But not medical advice, just our opinion.
Just like opinions, you can either take them or leave them. And this one here, being pontificated by GB News, I think I'm going to leave, actually. I'm just going to leave this opinion. I don't care. GB News, well, from Janie Waney, next pandemic is coming. GB News put out a news story saying, scientists warn pandemic more devastating than coof is coming. Must act now. I thought we only ever had a major pandemic once every 100 years or so.
Well, yeah, but that actually doesn't mean you can't have two in a row. It's just, on average, you have one every, it's a 100-year event. That doesn't stop 200-year events coming at the same time. Statistically. Because then if you don't have one for another 300 years, you're back to where you were.
Yeah,
statistically, so you got to remember, just because these things are 100-year events doesn't mean you have to have 100 years between them. But anyway,
one thing I will say is this: that these people here, GB News included, for reporting this, have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, do they, John?
No, they don't, because
just making it up.
All I'm gonna focus on here is the devastation, right? I'm wanting to. Can you? In fact, this is a bit like, I'll show you the doll, okay? And can you point on the chart to where the devastation occurred, okay?
Where did the pandemic touch you?
Yeah, where did the pandemic touch you? Okay.
Come on, little Susie. Where did the pandemic touch you?
So,
point here on the chart as to where the pandemic touched you. Come on. I know it's hard, but I'm sure you can do it. Now look at the chart and tell me, where did the pandemic touch you, little Johnny?
So the thing that gets me is there's a higher growth and death rate from 2013 to 2018 than there was in the next 4 years.
And this is per 1,000 of population, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is population adjusted. So if there's a higher growth and death rate from that period than there is in the next 4, where's the devastation?
Well, I just want to know, like I said, Johnny boy, where did the pandemic touch you? And it's just a question. Just a question,
and nothing to say.
No. Did it touch you?
Did this touch you? Did you see this kind of? What is it with the Irish? They really reinforce their opinion that they are, the generally held opinion that the Irish are a bit slow. I mean, you don't get all those jokes about one race for a particular reason without there being some kind of substance behind it. But They went out there and they clapped and cheered and everything for this clown who managed to greet himself in a mirror.
I was going to say, that's definitely a man fist bumping himself in the mirror, isn't it?
He's probably thinking, fuck me, that guy's got some hand. He's built.
Fair enough. Go walking up to him. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
You can't make this shit up, can you?
Well, before we came on air, you were playing the pre-roll and a woman actually handed him a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, aren't you worried that he might drop your baby? The man has dementia.
Yeah. Did you see? Once she'd given him the baby, she went into overdrive. She went into mother hover mode, overdrive straight away because she thought, what the fuck have I done? And she was dancing round him like a chicken looking to protect its chicks.
While he was sniffing the baby.
Oh, you got to say though, babies generally do smell nice, generally.
But do you know what else is terrible?
Unless they need
We've
changed.
got the minimal amount of likes that we have on this show so far. That's what else is terrible. That's as bad as Joe Biden sniffing your fucking baby. Right?
It's probably worse. So, David, well, let's go to the chat room briefly. YouTube is being shut on the app. Keep stopping. Going to switch to Rumble. Okay, do what you need to do, Andrew. Just don't lose your.
That means
don't unsub. Trudy just ignored it in heatwave. Blah blah. What heatwave?
No idea.
I don't know what heatwave.
Speaking of Rumble, we got 2 more subs over on Rumble.
Jolly good.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
David Peacock says, did you hear about 11 Indians dying of heat stroke and several others injured at a government event in India? No, I didn't.
Did not hear about that, no.
And
did not hear about that. But David, did you hear about Vladimir Zelensky standing on a green screen yet again? Did you hear about that?
Did you?
Did you?
Oh, Mats Nielsen puts this out. Zelensky roams free at the scene of his... No, he doesn't. He's standing in his little green screen bunker. Recording his Easter address.
I've watched this video.
Oh, it's definitely a green screen. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, there's no doubt.
No doubt. And he's obviously been told, move less. Because it's like...
I will stand exactly still like statue. And I will make Easter address.
This is Orthodox Easter. This is Orthodox Russian Easter. So
it is, yeah. That's why loads of people have been saying Happy Easter.
Yeah. So this is the Easter for the Orthodox side of things. This woman is an evil cow. She really is. This is evil epitomized.
Well, it's a Democrat.
Yeah, but she's just horrible. She's just a horrible.
But it's a Democrat.
Horrible. Example
so, in an
of
interview
humanity.
with CNN, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said the U.S. believes Russia should pay to rebuild Ukraine and is discussing with its allies options to circumvent legal restrictions on the use of frozen Russian assets, also known as stealing.
Yeah, right. So the first question that pops to mind is, why is Russia going to pay? But Russia probably will pay to rebuild Ukraine. Because, but it won't be called Ukraine.
It'll be called Russia.
Yeah. Because why would they pay otherwise? Why have you paid to rebuild everywhere else? No.
I mean, what America, I don't get...
Hold on. America goes in and it rubblizes Iraq. It rubblizes Kuwait to get the Iraqis out of Kuwait. It rubblizes Yemen by giving information and equipment to the Saudi Arabians. It rubblizes half of Africa, like Somalia, whatever. And what does it do? Does it pay to rebuild? No, it doesn't pay to rebuild. What it does is it sends in American private contractors who then get paid by the country they just fucking rubbalized to rebuild
to build
it.
Pizza Hut.
So
that's why there used to be Pizza Hut in Baghdad and
Yeah.
KFC and shit like that.
Yeah.
However, the point I want to make here is, how can the US Treasury Secretary come out and say this mere days after Jack Texera was arrested for his legitimate leaks that said that Ukraine's not winning this?
Mhm. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's stupidity.
You can't then turn around and say, "Oh, Russia's going to choose to, Russia's going to pay to rebuild something," which your own defense organization are saying Russia's probably going to take.
And this might annoy some of you, right? But bear with me. It's like when Trump said Mexico's going to pay for the wall. I don't think they have.
No.
Don't think they did.
They did not pay for the wall. I mean, the wall was never really built, was it?
Well, I think
there's a few miles of fence.
A lot of it was put up, but and to be fair, I think some of it's actually been continued now because
yeah, by the Biden administration, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, because that's a good idea. It's a good idea. You can't have an open border down there because you're open to the fucking world.
But you do realise it was, I believe it might have been the Clinton administration. Somebody can fact check me on this. But I believe it was the Clinton administration who originally floated the idea of the wall.
Yeah, it probably could have been. I have no doubt
It was definitely Democrats.
Yeah. Well, it was them. It was them that invented the Ku Klux Klan.
And then Robert Rodriguez made a film called Machete Kills, in which Charlie Sheen was the president. Yeah. And then there was a big, beautiful wall separating Mexico and the United States. And then all of a sudden, a couple of years later, Donald Trump comes on the campaign channel trail. He's been watching too much Charlie Sheen. We're going to build a big, beautiful wall. We're going to build a big, beautiful wall. But it got people energized, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It did. No, the German public are at odds with their political masters. I use the term masters loosely, but that's the German public. They say we want to live peacefully in Europe with Russia. That's the main message, right? We don't want to go to war. We don't want to fight, and you can understand that because what also has Germany done this week? It said to Bavaria, no, you can't keep our biggest nuclear power plant running. You're going to have to shut it. All nuclear power to be shut down by 2030, I think, right?
Yeah.
And it's all to be renewable after that. Renewables.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
And then their finance minister comes on and goes, we don't want to see a war with Taiwan because that would be particularly bad for the world. Well, no, that would be bad for the world and in particular Germany. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Because Taiwan's right next to Germany? But somebody says it's because Germany's got all this heavy industry and they build all these cars and need all these chips for the cars. But they won't be able to build the cars because BAS are already moving. They're relocating to China because they can't afford the energy costs. So in 5 years' time, when there's no nuclear power and they're not allowed to use fossil fuels, how are they going to generate energy and how are they going to build cars? Because they won't be able to afford to build cars. Or if they do build cars, nobody's going to be able to afford to buy them. So they won't need any chips. And anyway,
I want to go to the chat actually because I think Mr. Jungle Griffin's point here kind of ties in with these lunatics, these climate lunatics. Anyone see Just Stop Oil ruin the snooker? Apparently, Just Stop Oil have been at the snooker. What, today? It's something I'll have to take a look at.
Hold on.
But what the fuck are they doing at the snooker?
When you say ruin the snooker, right? This was something that was fucking televised to test colour television in its infancy. It was effectively a mobile test card.
I quite like the snooker, John.
It bores the fuck. It's like watching cricket. You might as well fucking. Well, I can't say what I was going to say, but yeah, I mean, it's just. Oh, it's like Death of 1,000 Cuts, isn't it?
The snooker to me is like the Formula One is to you, John. I like the snooker.
Right.
I like the. I mean, I'm probably an older man than you, to be honest. I quite like it. I do. I'd go to the snooker.
Okay.
I'd use it as an excuse to break sobriety, but I'd go to the snooker.
So no, I didn't see Just Stop Oil. Why did they ruin the snooker anyway? A snooker ball's made from oil. They probably are, because everything's made from fucking oil. Just Stop Oil don't seem to have this concept that if they stop oil, they just effectively take us back to the Stone Age overnight.
Yeah, you might as well be wearing animal husk around your gonads, because that's basically all you're going to get. Because, you know, even all your clothes Just Stop Oil, all your clothes.
You won't be eating avocados on toast.
All that shit that you wear. All them banners and shit that you make, all involve oil. All of it. Mark Oakford, that's a new one, says just topsoil. Ruin lots more than the snooker. Yeah, they're assholes.
Just topsoil?
They're indoctrinating.
Oh, Just Stop Oil. Right, okay.
But still, Just Stop Oil are a cult. They're a cult. They're an indoctrinated cult, just like all of the other climate cults. They're assholes.
They are arseholes. But they're effective.
They jumped on the table.
When they make protests, they're effective. You know, because they do disrupt people and they piss people off and they get in people's faces and they get loads of airtime, right? And everybody hates them. And if you're going to protest, that's what you need to do, because if people like you when you're protesting, how are you getting any point across?
Well, exactly. And we'll move on. Anyway, Scotty says, Brits who took in Ukrainian refugees have reportedly become victims of fraud and theft at the hands of their guests, with reports that some are splashing out on shopping trips to Harrods, Botox, and Apple products. Who knew it would all end in tears?
Who knew? It's like,
guess who didn't take in the Ukrainian refugees?
Hey, but I mean, why would anyone think that the most corrupt nation in Europe would provide people who are basically the salt of the earth and would adopt your cultural practices and not shaft you at every opportunity? Why would you think that? Anyway, let's move on.
Captain America says, never let it happen. Donald Trump Jr., who is basically, you do realise Donald Jr. is against the Budweiser boycott, right? He's against the Bud Light boycott. He's going on the old socials saying, don't boycott Bud Light.
Why? Has he got shields in it?
Well, he keeps saying it's an American institution and we don't need to be boycotting American institutions.
Bud Light's foul, though. It really is.
So is Bud. Bud is foul.
Bud can be okay. It can be okay.
Proper Budweiser's good. Budvar, proper Budweiser. Not Anheuser-Busch Budweiser.
You know what? I'm loath to take advice on beer from someone who does nothing but drink fucking soft drinks. Okay? Anyway, you were saying...
So Donald Trump Jr. tweets, if politicians armed Ukraine because they're allies, what's the implication when they disarm their own citizens?
Big brain. Big brain.
Do you know what? I actually think that Mr. Jungle Griffin agrees with me here. He says US Bud is vile.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried proper Budvar?
Yeah, of course I have.
Good stuff.
It's okay.
Good stuff.
German stuff's
not
better.
bad.
German's better. German beer's generally better. It's very difficult to beat good German beer. Anyway, apart from the odd, in fact, to be fair, I think some of the best beers in the world come from a little country just south of where I live. And, you know, I'm not trying to suck it up you because I hate you bastards, but that's what I would say. Some of the best beers in the world come from our island. Anyway,
I would say that we definitely overhype Carling though. That's a load of shite.
Oh no, that's not beer, right? I mean, let's be fair here. Budweiser and all that shit, and Carling and Tennant's Lager and Stella, and they're not really beer. They're just for the common people. It's when you start getting into proper beer, you know, your Hobgoblins and your Black Sheep Brewery stuff and your Rig Welters and, you know, even an old Peculiar.
You know, I live about 15 miles away from the Harvey's Brewery, and Harvey's ale is quite good.
Yeah.
Harvey's of Lewis. It's good ale. Not bad.
Right, yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Dagny Taggart says, Minister of Defense of Ukraine on the number of dead soldiers of the armed forces of Ukraine. I can't give you a number, but I can assure you that the total number is less than the death toll from the earthquake in Turkey.
So he is saying that less than 50,000 troops have died as a result of this war. That's what he's saying.
I don't believe him.
I think he's a liar.
Yeah, I don't believe him.
Well, the figures I got today from CIA sources, okay, were 250 dead, 250,000 dead, and 350 to 400,000 wounded beyond the capability of being able to return to the battlefield. That's a shitload of people. 405 Ukrainian planes destroyed, 226 assault helicopters destroyed, their almost entire air defence system knocked out. They've nothing left. They're done. Their spring offensive is now, in one hand, it's apparently going to happen on the 30th of April, and the next hand is going to not occur until the summer. I don't think they've got the capability of mounting an offensive. If they do, and if they throw people into it, I think
a lot of people are going to get killed.
I think a lot of people are going to die. Yeah.
So all I can do is reiterate what I keep saying on this show. And I know it's easier said than done, but at some point you've got to turn around and go, no. And I'm seeing a lot of chatter, and it's unconfirmed chatter at this point, but I'm seeing a lot of chatter suggesting that the armed forces of Ukraine want to pay Zelensky a little visit, shall we say?
Well, yeah. Well, see, the thing doesn't help when these leaked documents expose the fact that at least $400 million has been skimmed by Zelensky's generals and even down as far as colonels, I think. So the hierarchy and the forces are skimming money from the money that's been given to them. They're then complaining that the equipment they're getting doesn't work properly and is breaking and ineffective. They're then finding out that the Russians are jamming 50% of the high-end missiles that the Americans have given them, so they're not working up to specification. They're then finding that the Russian air defense system is knocking nearly everything out of the sky that they put at them. So the Russians are now in the position where they have a lot of people on the front line. They have defense in depth, they've got logistics there, and they can do ground support aircraft as well, because the Ukrainians have got nothing left to take them out. So I think Zelensky's problem is that he thinks if he stops throwing people into the meat grinder, that people will start to realise that he can't win. But he can't win. And the problem is, he is literally sending people to their death to prop up a regime that, remember, has banned all political opposition and incarcerated the leaders of the political parties that were in opposition against them. Right? So effectively, Ukraine is a dictatorship at this moment in time. It's not a democracy. So
I mean,
so what's he hoping to achieve? Because America knows they can't win. So I think they're trying to step back from it. But you've got clowns like Biden and you've got clowns like Nuland who will literally sacrifice the last Ukrainian body.
No, but what gets me is, right, I mean, like, I want to stick at that point a minute, that America know that they can't win. And those leaks say exactly that, right? Mm-hmm. They say exactly that. Ukraine are not winning. They can't win. It shows how many Ukrainians to Russians are dying, and it's significantly more. And still, it's Jack Texera that will get punished.
Yeah, well,
Not the US State Department,
No.
not all the media companies that have lied to people.
No.
It's the 21-year-old airman who
Patsy.
leaked these documents. We need to get him. We need to get him. Don't look at the lies we've been telling you. Just look at him for telling you that we told you those lies.
It's the same with Assange.
It's Snowden all day. It's Assange. It's Snowden. It's
Yeah.
them all over
Yeah,
again.
but what did these people? It's like where does a whistleblower, right, ever come out of anything and had any benefit to blowing the whistle? Now, the thing that gets me is, see, when you work for organisations, it's like big companies, or dare I say it, things like the police and things like that, and have their posters up saying, you know, if things aren't going the way they should be and we're not treating people right, blow the whistle, right? And that's what the posters say. And if someone goes and tries to do it, oh my God, they get castigated, hauled over the coals. The next thing you know, they're in jail or they're out the job. And that's exactly what happens. Don't blow the whistle.
Yeah.
Even if your organisation is shit and it's doing wrong, if you blow the whistle, it's coming back on you, not them. And you know what? I've really, really got to take my hat off to people like, Assange not so much, because technically he's done nothing wrong. He's just a publisher, right?
Yeah.
He's done nothing wrong. He's
Snowden,
no different from the Wall Street Journal and the Sunday Times and the Telegraph. He's not done anything different from them, right? Glenn Greenwald, he's not in jail. Why is he not in jail?
Yeah, Glenn Greenwald is the man that published what Snowden had released. In fact, gave the interview to Snowden, isn't he? But Glenn Greenwald, he is disgraced in the field of mainstream media.
Yeah, but why is he not in jail?
Absolutely.
Because he's an American.
He's an American, yeah.
So, and then you've people like Snowden who had to flee the country. And he'd never go back. Never. And if Trump had any set of balls on him, he would have pardoned Snowden and Assange.
I don't know why he didn't.
I don't know why he didn't. Well, because, you know what? I think he's a bit brainwashed as well.
I don't know what Assange needs to be pardoned from. I still can't quite get that. I don't know what a crime against a country that he does not live in Assange has committed.
It's not even a crime against a country he doesn't live in. It's a crime against a country he's not a citizenship of.
Yeah, he's not a citizen
and yet
of.
They keep bandying the word treason. You cannot commit treason to a country that you're not fucking part of.
No, you can't. It's like you saying I've committed treason against, I don't know, Xi Jinping because I call him Winnie the fucking Pooh.
Yeah.
No.
If you go to China and get lifted and you call them Winnie the Pooh there, then he might have a case against you, but he can't fucking go and say, I want to extradite that bastard because he calls me Winnie the Pooh and mocks me.
It doesn't work like that.
That's not how the world works.
I don't get why Australia haven't stepped up and gone, nah, that bastard's ours.
Because Australia's fucking... What happened? What happened to the land of Crocodile Dundee? That's not a knife. This is a knife. I'll get the fucking smallest possible knife I can, you know? I'm an Australian. I'm tough. Oh, well, I'm not really, you know. My name's Sheila.
I'll do whatever Dan Andrews tells me.
Yeah. I wear a gingham dress at the weekend and call myself Sheila.
I'll lock myself down. It's fine.
Yes. MI6 agent. Oh, what about the one that ended up in the case, in the bag? Remember the one that locked himself inside the case?
Locked himself inside, yeah. Locked himself
Padlocked
inside,
from the outside.
Yeah, did it to himself.
Suicide.
But still, right, let's move on because we got a lot to get through tonight. Scotty says, what the fuck is this tweet? And this tweet is from the Telegraph. It says, good genes and world-class healthcare do help, but they can only take you so far, and Charles III knows it. as surely the most health-conscious sovereign we have seen. How King Charles stays fit at 74. I'm just going to make a point here. My grandmother, 78, probably in better shape than him.
Right, I'll make a point here. He's never ridden that bike in his life. Look how low the seat is. Look how
low the seat is. And look, just out of frame is probably the A-frame that's holding it up.
But look how low the seat is, right? You can't ride a bike at his height with a seat that low because that's just ridiculous. And is there a seat on it? Because that's a rather surprised expression on his face.
I was just trying out that thing that William likes, the old pegging.
Mobile pegging.
Mobile pegging unit.
Right. So the New York Times have fucking outdone themselves here, haven't they?
Yeah.
So the New York Times, as posted originally by Richard Hanaya and then Robert Park. So according to the New York Times, gay men save society from monkeypox by cutting back on their orgies with strangers spread the disease in the first place.
Fuck off, did they? Right? I'm sorry, but no.
I mean, it gets better, but while health officials and journalists hesitated, gay and bi men sprang into action. Young men with lesions covering their faces took to social and mainstream media, telling the public they were dealing with the worst pain I've experienced in my life, and perhaps the most telling, I'd rather have COVID. Fucking hell.
Although
if you're gay, I'm not having a go at you, but you didn't fucking save the world from monkeypox.
Well, no, because okay. I'm gonna say some things here, and I'm gonna give what the lefties like to call a trigger warning, right?
Go on.
Because there's gonna be some facts here that people might not like,
right?
And perhaps not even the. So monkeypox. We were told quite specifically that it was a disease primarily spread within the gay male community because it was spread via sexual contact between gay men, right?
Uh-huh.
We were told that's how it spread, but then we were told we're not allowed to say that because that's not true and that's phobic, despite the fact it was a fact.
Okay.
But what I can't quite get my head around is if the gay men kept having orgies, how would I have got monkeypox?
I don't know, mate. But they saved society.
How would you have got monkeypox?
I don't know, mate.
How could they have saved society when it was being spread via sexual contact between gay men?
Look, don't make it fucking sensible. Just don't make it sensible. That's not what we're here to do.
But what they are suggesting then is that those gay men would then go on to have sex with straight men or straight women in order to continue to spread the disease. But that's generally not what people...
Yeah, okay.
Do you get what I'm saying here? They're trying to suggest... How would I have ended up with monkeypox if they hadn't stopped their orgy?
Your wife is having an affair with a gay man.
Again?
Anyway, speaking of sex and transmitted diseases, I'm not saying this is a sexually transmitted disease, but Holly's off the TV because she's got shingles.
Don't care.
Just thought I'd mention it.
I just thought I'd tell you I don't give two shits whether or not.
I don't care either.
She's an empty husk of a human being who never had an original thought in her life.
She's a vacuous.
She reads off the teleprompter.
She's a vacuous airhead, in my opinion.
How the hell she gets to present this morning? Well, she wouldn't be able to do it without the teleprompter. That much I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I care what this is? Avatar. has to, whether or not this avatar has got shingles. Wow.
Okay.
Sucks.
Moving on. So, this guy's got a bit of a point, this Toy Hawks chap. Okay? So these people do this. They deliberately target, they act as a group and they deliberately target people that don't fall into their line of thinking, i.e. people like us.
They've hacked one of our viewers.
Yeah, they did. So they target people that don't fall into their line of thinking, and then they continue doing this. And they use Twitter to this to good effect, because they act as a small group and they think they're really smart, because they just go and target people and just keep piling on. And why are they allowed to operate, and yet other people get banned for targeted abuse just for having just for making comments against politicians? Yeah,
but the thing is, this isn't new. This isn't only this version of Twitter that allowed this to happen. I've been a victim of this for 3 years.
Yeah, but you would think that this kind of thing would be less looked upon favourably by an organisation that now is supposed to be more about free speech and not restricting free speech, which is what these people actually do.
Yes, of course they do. And like I say, when it comes to Teresa, who watches this show sometimes, they have hacked and stolen her Twitter account and are now using it to do some very, very heinous and disgusting things. This group of people have done that. Should it be allowed to happen? No, that shouldn't be allowed to happen. But I've made the point on this very situation for years now, not specifically to this group, but to others that have done the same to me, that have done the same to my family, that have done the same to people I know, and yet it's just been allowed to happen again and again and again and again. And I don't know. I mean, the head of trust and safety at Twitter, the current head of trust and safety at Twitter, her name is Ella Irwin. She's awful. I'll give you an example. There's a YouTuber / Twitter account. She calls herself That Star Wars Girl. Her name's Anna, right? She put up a publicly available picture of General Thrawn from the new Star Wars Ahsoka series. It got taken down, right? So Trust and Safety took it down because they got a genuine copyright claim from Disney. And this is what Ella Irwin, head of Trust and Safety, is saying. They got a genuine... They didn't. They got a copyright claim from some random bloke in Poland pretending to be Disney. Ella Irwin knows this, yet she still, as head of Trust and Safety, goes public and lies. And I've seen the copyright claim for myself, so I know what I'm saying is true. And I've said to her publicly on Twitter, you need to retract this because you're lying. So if we've got people who are at the helm of Trust and Safety on Twitter who are actively going to lie when there's evidence to prove they are lying, how can we trust these people? How can we trust these people?
No safety. That's what it is, mate. No trust, no safety. Right, moving on. Speaking of trust and safety, Dr. Mike, Emerge Med Doctor. The royal family and government once again want NHS workers to be front and centre, this time at the coronation. Okay. It's just a shame the government doesn't want to pay them appropriately. Well, define appropriately. Why do you think they're not paid appropriately? Because you don't get £14 an hour. So don't give us that bullshit to start with. And your pay goes up every year that you're in service. So don't give us that bullshit.
Knowing what your salaries are going to be.
Yeah. And remember, you are one of the privileged groups that was completely unaffected over the last 3 years by any government restrictions. In fact, I think you benefited it because most people gave them a discount. Supermarkets made you a priority. You didn't need to queue. You got money off.
You got money off when you were making a full salary and people like John here was losing their businesses because of the restrictions that you begged for.
Yeah. So,
You know, there are people very bitter.
Remember, and my heart goes out to every single one of the NHS workers, nurses and doctors that died from the coup. My heart goes out to every one of them. And you know how many that was? Fuck all.
Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah.
Philip says, this beautiful fella... I can't read that. Can you read it to me?
This
Sorry,
beautiful fella, Hill 16, I take it that's the horse's name, died after falling at the first fence of the Grand National. Shot after suffering terrible injuries, all for other people's pleasure. I hope its agony was brief. 2 other horses have also died at this year's entry meeting. Matt enjoyed it. And so down below we have Matt Hancock, what a race. Glad the attention-seeking protesters trying to ruin the Grand National completely failed. Okay? Now,
do you know what?
There's a bit of nuance here. There's a bit of nuance
yeah, there
here.
is. I'm gonna say something that might create more triggering.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that the protesters are at least 50% responsible for those horses falling.
I don't know. Why? What's your theory?
Well, it's not a theory. There's a process involved with preparing a horse for a race.
Yeah.
And it takes lots of people, and it's to the minute preparations, up to the minute. And then when protesters go out and delay the start of that race by 20 minutes, it stresses the horses that have been through that preparation out.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I think, well, there were 3 horses died at this year's entry meeting. Now, horses die at every horse race, okay? So, there's a couple of things that you need to think about. If you don't want to have horse racing, then should we stop horse racing? Should we? I don't know. I mean, the thing is...
That's something for a public referendum, certainly.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, it's like fox hunting. Apparently we don't hunt foxes, but we do. We still do. You know?
We do.
But
yeah,
it's like horses. If you've ever been around horses, right? You know how they say you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink? That's exactly what they're like. Horses are stubborn bastards. If they don't want to do something, they won't do it. If they do want to do something, they will do it. And they're really, I mean, they're a complete nightmare when you're trying to get them to do one thing and they don't want to do it, because they're really hard to work with because they're big and strong and pretty stupid, right?
And you know what? Horse racing doesn't interest me. It doesn't interest me in the slightest.
It doesn't interest me either, but the thing is, you have to work out if you want to have these sports or not. Now, the same thing happens in human sports. People die while they are in human sports, competing.
Yeah, of course they do.
So should we stop football? Because over 1,000 people have died in the last 2 years while playing football.
What they'll tell you is this, that the footballers choose to play football, whereas the horses don't have a choice.
But they do, because they don't need to run. And you've seen it before. They don't come out. They just don't come out the gate. You know, and I mean, the jockey might try and whip them a few times, but he'll get done these days for doing that. So, if they don't want to run, they won't run. But anyway, I mean, the thing is, should we stop sports where people could die? Because that effectively means all athletics should be stopped because people die doing athletics.
Do you know what? I'm actually going to turn around and say no. That would be my answer, because at the end of the day, once again, people make a choice. People make a choice to do what they will or what they want with their own bodies, and that should be the case, by the way. Now, the nuance is when it comes to things like horse racing. I mean, we banned animals from the circus, didn't we, in this country? We can't have circus animals in this country.
Yeah.
Maybe it is time we look at.
Hey, I don't have the answers, you know.
No, I don't have the answers, and it wouldn't be for me or you to answer. Decisions like this and situations like this are something we need to take a collective look at, I would say, as a country, and see what we want to do about it. Because these people like Animal Rebellion, instead of doing what they're doing, maybe they should be lobbying government for a referendum. Lobby government for a referendum. See what the public decide. Because imposing your will upon everybody else by doing stupid things, it's fascism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you do what you do and you try to impose your will, your way or the highway, it's fascism.
Speaking of fascism,
authoritarianism.
What's this? So Mike of the Southwest gives us this one. And he prefaces it with reason 27,678 why I voted to leave the EU. So the EU has rejected Ukrainian grain bans by Poland and Hungary. Now, Poland and Hungary wanted to ban the import of Ukrainian grain in order to protect their own agricultural sector, right? Because cheap Ukrainian grain is overflowing into their country and they can't compete with it. Mm-hmm. So it's putting their people out of work. And the EU says, no, not going to do that. You take it. Your people can suffer. So,
and this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is why you should never have allowed a common market to evolve into an autocratic top-down dictatorship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is what people don't fundamentally understand. All of these people, we voted to enter the EU. No, we didn't. We never voted to enter the EU. We never voted on the EU's existence. It just sort of came into being in the early 90s. We voted after the Second World War to join the common market to ensure free trade and easier travel. Right? That's what we did. And that's not what we now have.
Or what we did have.
Well, there should have been a referendum for the formation of the EU.
There should have been.
Surely.
Yeah. Should have been.
Because we have this commission that's unelected and are the only people within it allowed to suggest or impose or put forward legislation which would then govern all of the member states. That's not what people voted to enter. Now, if people want to live like that,
mm-hmm. I know.
They need to vote to live like that, surely.
You would think so, but no, you don't. You just do as you're told, sir.
No, you don't.
Do as you're told.
Just do as you're told. All of these EU supporters have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. People like Femi. Femi thinks Brexit is the reason we're currently in a cost of living crisis. He's currently bleating about it on Twitter. He has been all day today. No, Femi, the reason we're in a cost of living crisis is because we shut down a fucking economy for 2.5 years. And Femi, did you support the closure of that? I think you did, didn't you?
I think he did.
I think you did.
So
Femi, it's not Brexiteers are the reason. It's you.
Now, Agent P brings us this. This is an example of Scotland's justice system at the moment with its soft touch approach to those under 25. Now, unfortunately, if Nicola does get charged with anything, it's not going to apply to her because she's well over 25.
Uh-huh.
But so this chap, I don't know his real name, but he's calling himself Katie.
Well, that is his real name if he's legally changed it. His name's Katie.
Well, he doesn't need to legally change it.
But still.
It might be his real name, it might not. Because, I mean, you can set any first name you like. You don't need to do anything to make it your first name.
Yeah.
So anyway, his first name is reported as Katie, age 22. And he's breached bail twice on a 280-mile road trip that he shouldn't have done, right? But he's been set free again, despite breaching bail. So, what's the point in having bail if people are just going to breach it and then get set free? Shouldn't these people be in remand until trial? If they're so dangerous that they need...
I would say so.
Bail terms that allow stop them doing things.
I would say that him being trans has absolutely no bearing on the situation.
Well, I haven't mentioned that.
No, but this has here in this tweet.
Yeah.
I would say that the fact, regardless of whether or not this person was trans, was a man, was a woman, was gay, was straight, they shouldn't be on bail.
And
especially shouldn't have been released if they breached their bail twice.
That is not the look of a normal individual, I would say.
That is the look. Well, that person looks pretty evil in that still. But remember, they've probably gone through every frame to find the most evil look that they can. Trudy asks, "Where is my vape from?" Trudy, I am not allowed to tell you, and there's a good reason for that.
Because it's not quite legal in this country, is it?
Well, it's legal to own. It's not legal to sell.
You were going to say purchase.
Sell. Purchase. I was given this, John.
Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Anastasia Maria Lupus.
That's a name.
Isn't it just? Who is a bit of a twat, I think. On this occasion, it said former Planned Parenthood director commits suicide after police raid his home in child porn case. Well, if you're going to do that, I think that's an admission of guilt.
It's either... No, there's no either. It's probably an admission of guilt, yeah.
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 I would say you're probably right.
And in this, if that's the case, he's saved us a lot of money.
Well, not us, the Americans. But
yeah, okay. But when I say us, I mean he's saved people having to spend money prosecuting them and putting them in jail and keeping them for the rest of his life. You know.
Department for Transport, Transport.gov UK tweets that they've tweeted. Today we have announced that plans for new smart motorways will be cancelled. Aren't they banning smart motorways?
Well, they're not building any new ones. I don't know if they're going to do away with the ones that they've spent all that money and whatever dealing with, but they are a complete and utter nightmare. And I pointed this out. Maybe over a year ago. There is
you're on the M6. It was just awful.
Oh yeah, but there's a well-known phenomenon, right, that occurs when people are driving down a road. And this is why you don't stay in your car when you break down on the hard shoulder. Because what happens is people see your car and immediately think it's a travelling lane. And because we're conditioned, move to the left, people move to the left. And then they run into the back of your fucking stationary car.
Do you know
and
what?
It happened.
Really
it would surprise you how often this happens.
I'm going to need to stop you there because something fantastic has just happened in the chat. What? Trudy has just called Adam Asda.
So I think it's a good idea not to, and it saves us money as well.
I agree.
There's nothing smart about them.
No, they're shit.
If something says smart in its title, 1, it's not smart. 2, it's not smart for you to adopt it. 3, if the government's
probably spying on you.
If the government's got anything to do with it, it's never in your best interests.
We're here from the government, John. We're here to help.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you're ever going to hear, ever.
Brighter tweet. Today I spoke with the Chairman General of Sudan's Transitional Military Council, El Burhan, to emphasize U.S. support for Sudan's democratic aspirations and to encourage the rapid formation of a civilian-led transitional government from Secretary Blinken. So the freedom fighters / terrorists won, did they?
Yeah, coup. Wonder who.
One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. They're terrorists until they win, and then they're freedom fighters.
Wonder who organised that one.
Do you think Blinken himself might have had something to do with this?
Fucking hell. Look, America's gonna have their finger in that pie somewhere, aren't they?
We're gonna deliver you some freedom.
You're gonna get freedom 2.0 installed.
Freedom's coming, boys. It's coming. You're going to have to read the next one because that writing is so damn small that I can't make it out.
So Simon Mount the Sixth says, cumulative, right? Remember that word, chaps? Right?
Yep.
So Ian Copeland, PhD, right? I thought COVID was over. Anti-vaxxers, ? Right? So he's asking people who he says are anti-vaxxers, is COVID over?
From Luke
Thank you.
Honeythunder, good evening, people. Greetings from Newcastle.
Greetings indeed.
10.
Ah, Luke, I see it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Luke.
We
So-
appreciate the £10. We will spend
There's-
it wisely.
There's nothing like a klaxon going off to get you going. So,
I will spend it on more Mountain Dew. Thank you very much.
so there we go. What's going on in India? The Arcturus variant is running rampant. Let's hear it, anti-vaxxers, right? So, and we have this lovely graph of cumulative confirmed COVID-19 cases, which is going up and up and up. But hold on a minute. The key word there is cumulative. And what does that mean, Ben?
Well, it means total, as in it cannot go down because it is. And the thing
Unless
is,
they start coming back to life, it's never going to go down.
And Mr. Copeland, I don't know, right? I can barely see this shit, right? My eyes are shit. But what I see there, Mr. Copeland, is a flat line.
Flat line at the top.
I see a flat line.
Yeah.
So what's happening in India is fuck all. I had to get out of my system, John, because I can't even read that, and I can see that. And he's got a PhD, like Simon here said.
I know. What's happened to the web? Oh, it came up again. The message came up again. That was cool. Right. Right. And what were we talking about on Friday night? No, it was during Mac Changizi when I was using
the amount of trains that derail in the United States, and I can barely read this one and all, but I can see what it is.
Yeah. So breaking: a train carrying hazardous materials has derailed and caught fire. Well, okay, it happens every month in the US, and I said that on the show on Thursday. I said there's over 12,000 real incidents every year in the US. So you're going to have a few derailments every month.
I would say so.
Yeah. And it's just because the press are reporting everyone, it looks like it's a conspiracy. But no, it's not a conspiracy. What it is the rail infrastructure in the US is complete and utter shite. That's the problem.
It's sad. I hope nobody was hurt, but it doesn't shock or surprise me, because looking at the amount of derailments and things that happen over there, it was bound to happen.
Indeed. Right.
Gee, unlike the West, China's modernization will not be predatory.
I'm not convinced.
I think that Xi Jinping is one of the most predatory people in the planet. He really is.
I've still to do my video on him, but I've been doing research on his background and his growing up and all that, and he's a devious little shit.
He's listen, I personally think, like I said, he's one of the most predatory people on the planet.
Yeah.
I think he is a tyrant. I think he is evil. I think the people that follow him are evil. When he makes that sort of statement, what does he mean? I'm only going to push you a little bit. I'm only going to push you a little bit.
A little bit pressured. So anyway, here we go.
Little bit of passion.
Ivo Dalder here has come up with Macron has China all wrong. The right policy isn't to chart a middle course between Washington and Beijing, but to align the US and Europe on a common path, preventing China from overhauling the global order. My take in Politico Europe. Well, I'm not convinced I'm with you on this one, Ivo. What do you think? You're with them.
Well, yeah, because I don't want China being able to overhaul the global order.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, but I don't think the US and Europe can align on anything at this moment in time.
I don't think that they can, but I agree with Ivo that they should.
No, I don't think they should align with each other, because anyone that aligns themselves with the US, it never works out well for them.
No. No. That's not what I said.
No, is a single no would be sufficient.
But
instead of going into
said.
like stuck typewriter mode.
Aligning on a common path does not necessarily mean following the US.
I never said it did. What I said was anyone that aligns with the US, it never works out well for them. Show me when in the past aligning with the US has ever worked out well for you. And when I say you, I mean any other country.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point. But what I would suggest is this: that the US must know in their bones, at the deepest levels of government, that they are on the back foot. That China are on the right, they are on the back foot. So I think if there's any opportunity to do anything right now, it's to exploit that. It's to exploit it and say, well, you know, if you don't change, then China's going to rise and we're not going to step in the way. But if you want us to step in the way,
I think it's worse than that. I think the US know they're on the way down, and this is a scrambled and frantic activity of someone trying to dig themselves out of a hole that they can't quite reach the top of. Because I really think this is a turning point in the world for the US, and it's no longer going to be the global superpower, the single global superpower that we've had for the last 50 years.
but the problem is, what is being poised to take its place is fucking China.
No,
if we don't do something.
No, not necessarily, because I think Macron's right in this point. I think what you do need is you need a strong, independent Europe.
Yes, but does Beijing, does Xi Jinping want a strong, independent Europe?
Well, it's not up to him whether he wants it. Well, you want a strong, independent Europe. You want a strong, independent Russia. Now, Russia and China, like we talked about on Monday, Russia and China are not best friends, right? They're in a marriage of convenience at the moment.
They're using each other, yeah.
Yeah, of course they are. And that's a good thing, because you do not want them teaming up, because if they team up with the rest of the BRICS countries, then there's nothing left for anyone else.
No.
But I don't think that aligning with the US with its current bias towards military incursion in foreign countries is going to help anyone, because I think what that will do would be to trigger World War III. I think that's the problem. If you align with the US, they are going to think that it's okay to basically start World War III and wipe everyone out.
And on that note, let's move on.
Yeah.
Hopefully this thing starts getting a bit more light-hearted. Dagny Taggart says the US and its allies are considering how to reduce economic relations with China, fearing a possible conflict or a new pandemic. Wall Street Journal. Who have biolabs all over the world and trying to hide them, asking for a friend. Well, we know who that was, and it was the United States. But no, why would you now be trying to reduce economic relations with China when you gave them everything?
See, this is the problem, right? So America is trying to bring stuff back, trying to bring some manufacturing back. It's not going to work, because the problem is even if you start making your own chips and things, all the components are made in China. All the rare earth minerals are coming from Russia and China, or Africa, where China controls them, right? So it's too late. It's too late. You can't reindustrialize the US. You just can't do it. So the problem you've got is you can't cut off. You can't reduce economic relations with China unless you degrade your society. You're going to have to degrade your standard of living and everything.
So let's say the United Kingdom, right? Let me give you a bit of an example here. The United Kingdom decides they want to do the same. They want to bring all manufacturing back from China. But at the same time, they're on the path for net zero by 2030. Now, let me just give you an example of what is required. Simply, say we can get all of the batteries to give everyone an electric car, right? Let's say we can do that. Let's right, we're going pie in the sky here. We would need to triple the size of our entire electrical grid simply to power the cars, right? That's the entire country's infrastructure. Then what's left for manufacturing? What is left to power the factories? What is left to power the machinery? What is left to power the computers that would be required? If we're not going to be using coal and we're only going to be using renewables, and certainly we're shying away from nuclear for some reason, despite the fact we're building a new nuclear plant, we should be building several. But how is any of this going to work in reality, especially with countries like China who are piling forward? They don't care about your green deals and your net zeros, right? They're burning coal like wildfire. They're setting up nuclear reactors all over the shop. There's no way you can win with these sorts of things, with these aspirations, with these net zeros. You want to start doing these sorts of things, and it's the same for the United States. If they want to start mandating everybody have an electric car and stuff, and I know that the states individually can do that, thankfully, but these sorts of things, your electrical grids are going to need to be massively increased in size. You're going to have nothing left for manufacturing. Where is it coming from? How's it going to happen? And where's the electricity for a 3 times as big electrical grid going to be fucking generated from? Doesn't make any sense, does it?
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Other things that aren't going to happen, right? So, Squirrel 2312 here says, I've never heard such a cringe-making litany of Barnum statements on low-res speechifying. So, Tyson Co are too cowardly or corrupt or stupid to address the real issues and instead push out embarrassing biscuit tin patriotism and boomer nostrums. Well, they might be all three, but yeah. What would Reform UK do any differently from current governments?
I've no idea.
Well, what happens when you get into government? What are your aims?
Feather. Yes.
Feather the nest. And
control the population, John.
Yeah. So why would they behave any differently? Because their system doesn't allow any change. So the system, if you vote for someone and think that anything's going to change, then you're really, really mistaken. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. You're not going to change a system from the inside.
And I'll tell you something right now. Reform UK are not getting into government.
No, they're not. They might get 1 or 2 seats, but it's not going to make any difference to anyone.
Yeah, they're not getting into government. They're not. I mean, Nigel Farage's UKIP had a chance. They had a chance.
Maybe.
They got 4 million votes in a general election.
Yeah.
4 million votes. Didn't get fuck all in the way of seats, but they got 4 million votes.
Yeah.
But that's a testament. Tyson and Reform are not going to get that. They're not.
No, they won't.
Nobody cares. He's got no charisma. His girlfriend is Isabel Oakeshott.
Imagine having a girlfriend that's blown Matt Hancock.
Oof. Oh.
Did I say that out loud? No, allegedly.
Bushels per acre says, just when you think Macron couldn't be more of a douche. Macron banned cash payments of more than €1,000 between citizens.
Mm-hmm.
How can he do that?
He has declared illegal cash payments above a ceiling of €1,000 per transaction for individuals resident in France, right? And involved in a commercial transaction.
So what you're saying, I can't go to like Disneyland and pay over €1,000 for merchandise in cash?
Not in one transaction. No, you couldn't. Oh no, you could. You're not resident in France. Your ceiling is 15,000.
So I've got a higher ceiling than them.
Yeah, because you don't pay tax in France.
Well,
do you now? See, this is to stop a cash economy. Because I don't know if you've ever lived in France, but I have. And you know what happens in France? Every business has 2 books. They have the official book and they have the other book.
And the other book's the one that goes to the government, isn't it?
No, the official book is the one that goes to the government. The other book...
Oh, yeah, the other book.
The other book is the stuff that's all been in cash and isn't getting declared anywhere. And they all do it. It's just the way they work.
Respect.
And this is him trying to stop this. But you know what they'll do? They'll just start making transactions and they'll just make payments.
Yeah, just you must 3,000 euros. You must pay me in 4 payments of 750 euros individually. 1 payment, 2 payment, 3 payment, 4.
But yeah. So this is what they're trying to do. And if you do make a payment, if your payment is more than 1,000, if your payment is between friends, say, and it's more than 1,000. You're supposed to not use cash. You're supposed to use something like a check or a bank transfer. What are you laughing at?
I saw the next slide.
Here we go. So, what's
David's right.
Yeah, David's fucking nailed it, right? So, here we go. We got Giggle Pops gives us this from the WDSU. This Sesame Street Muppet will become the first to experience homelessness. And David pipes up with Oscar the Grouch has been living in a fucking bin for years. He's not wrong.
Decades, in fact.
He's not wrong.
Oh, it's because Oscar the Grouch is a man. We don't count that.
Yeah, I know. So Emma Louise brings us the next one, and that's a bit naughty, but it could be accurate. I don't know. I'm not making any determination. I'm only putting it out there for you to review. Drag Queen Story Hour. How it started, how it's going.
I'm moving on.
Yeah, let's move on.
I like this.
This is quite witty. From Hoodwink795. I need to tell you I'm a Scottish nationalist. That's okay. I don't know anything about economics either.
They certainly don't.
No, they fucking don't. They don't have a clue.
Well, actually, they know how to fiddle the economic system.
Not without getting caught, they don't.
I didn't say that. Didn't say that.
So the dark side of the Yoon has brought us this from Gingy. Boss, am I allowed to sack you? Shh. He's like a wee boy, isn't he? He really is.
Do you think he's gonna though? Do you think he's gonna let it go? He's gonna have to, isn't he? He's gonna have to.
We'll find out if he can make a decision, because he really has to. He has to do it. If he doesn't do it, he's just lost.
If he doesn't do it, we know he's in on it too.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And
he's coming down with the shit.
Colonel Mustard brings us this one. People who actually believe that US involvement in the Ukraine conflict is about supporting freedom.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Whose freedom? I keep hearing this shit. It's about your freedom. It's about the West. Is it?
And we have mentioned this before, but I found a poster. I think it's Kettering City. .ac.uk. So for student president. Tuna cunt. Or president.
Change your name.
Do you support tuna? Do you support tuna cunt?
Change your goddamn name, woman. Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Is that it? Are we done? Are we at the end?
That's us, mate.
I don't think my heart can take it anymore.
Oh, that's all
Do you know what? We do this to try and rationalise and make you laugh and bring some light-heartedness to the news. But there's not much light-heartedness to bring these days, is there, John?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of stupidity, but it all seems to be going down the route of world annihilation. It really
Do you know
does.
what? I am aging terribly, and I think this show is a direct cause.
Do you want to stop? Should we stop the show?
No.
Should I put a troll poll
No,
up on Friday?
I enjoy it too much. But I'm just saying the direct consequence of trying to entertain these people is look at these lines.
Yeah.
Look at them. I mean, and they're not even leaving likes. They're not even.
Dent in my forehead. What's that all about? Where's that come
Oh,
from?
Edward Longshanks. William Scott was Edward Longshanks. There we go.
Hey,
there we go.
Cheers, William.
But this is what, after over 200 episodes of this show, right? I'm surprised I haven't had a stroke. I'm just saying. But we'll be back on Wednesday at 8 p.m. to do it all over again.
Indeed we will.
What are you doing?
I'm typing in the chat.
You're distracted.
No, I was just typing in the chat.
Andrew says aging better than Madonna and shit. Oh yeah, I'm aging like a fine wine. Believe me, I know that. I'm getting more attractive. I mean, I started this show as the sex appeal, and Jesus Christ, now look at me, John.
And with that,
I told you.
I'd like to thank you.
No. I told you if you started using keeps, you'd have hair like this. I told you.
And with that, I'd like to thank you all for attending this episode 214 of Chasing Dissent Live with me, John, and with Ben. And it's been great. For you.
For you.
Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We